Hello, everyone. Are we
Hello,
on?
hello. Teka,
Hello.
parang naano ako, nakikita ko yung itsura ko, live na raw tayo. Live na ba tayo?
Yes, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are. Once again, I'm gonna break the ice. I'll start first. Is you're always the one who's starting, so it's gonna be
Okay.
me.
Okay, dokie, dokie. Okay, dokes. Okay, dokie, dokes.
Inagawan, inagawan. Anyway,
Sige.
welcome to our show, Lakbay ng Buhay. This is our ninth episode, second to the last for our first season. And my name is Ronnie. I'm live here in Dubai. And magandang gabi dyan sa inyo sa US. Magandang tanghali sa Pilipinas. And magandang umaga sa Dubai. Take it away, Bon.
And ako po ay inyong lingkod, si Bonnie Loisa Bol Mendoza of South San Francisco, the Bay Area.
Hello.
Magandang gabi sa buong Amerika. Sa
Yeah.
Dubai, magandang umaga. Sa Pilipinas,
Yeah, yeah.
magandang tanghali. May udto sa mga
Yeah.
Sinibuano. And of course,
Mm.
to Julces, hello Julces, good evening to
Yeah.
you. And to Ate Rexy
Yeah.
from Woodland Hills, California. Hay
Yes.
nakuran, tonight talaga
I know.
namang punong-puno tayo ng punong-puno tayo ng mga celebrations, you
I know.
know?
So let's get right to it.
Right
Let's
to it
take it
na ba?
away.
Talaga naman dapat lang talaga sinicelebrate natin. So umpisahan
Yeah, yeah.
natin. Umpisahan
Yeah.
na natin. Pero bago ang lahat, ito
Yeah.
ay Lakbay ng Buhay Show, which is story of journey of life, stories of inspiration, challenges, working
Mhm.
abroad, overseas Filipino working abroad. Pero, like we
But
always say,
yeah,
tonight is a special night. So, we will
very.
also bring you some very inspiring stories
Yeah.
na, at the end of the day, yun ang nagko-connect sa ating lahat.
Yeah.
So, ako'y very interested. I mean, excited, interested to hear of the story. Yung English ko, nagkabali-bali na. Sus, Ginoo. Sus,
Yeah,
Mario Josep.
we'll have more on later on. Mag-no-nosebleed tayo niyan mamaya-maya.
Nagumpisa na.
All right.
I'm turning purple. Hindi ako
I know.
namumula Nagpo-purple ako Eggplant ako Anyway,
Anyway, yeah. As you've said earlier, today is very special. We'll start off with a very special person, very close to our heart. So can we sing together, Ban? Or let's just take a show her photo. Last 25th of March, that was the other day.
yes.
My dear mommy Virgie, which is the younger sister of my mom, Mrs. Virgie Herrera, celebrated her 94th birthday in Cebu. So happy birthday, mommy Virgie. We
Happy
love you.
birthday.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Yan.
you.
So,
94. Tignan mo
yeah.
naman. Oh my
So,
God.
give a shout out to our dear cousins, which my dear cousins, to Jenny and her husband Paul, and
Ralph,
then Ralph,
Ralph, and then daughter
Crystal,
Crystal,
and
and
then
then
Jonathan, with Venus, his wife, and then TJ,
TJ,
the son.
and
Yeah,
the daughter.
And then Betsy Herrera with
No, Uncle
Rico.
Jonathan's daughter. Uncle Jonathan's daughter. TJ, and then yung daughter niya, si Stephanie. Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are in Orlando living, and then see Jennifer is in Miami, and then Betsy, the daughter, with husband Rico and daughter Melissa, they're in Cebu, but Melissa is in Canada, and then lastly is Christine, who's in Cebu. So yan yung mga anak ni Ma'am Virgie Herrera, and how I wish Daddy Pablo was here as well, but he has moved on. He's in heaven. So yan, happy birthday! So ngayon naman, anniversary naman tayo, Ban.
Hi, Kuya Arnold. Get well soon. Diyan ka lang. Relax ka lang. Kami
Relax ka
bahala
lang.
dito. Pag nagkalat kami, walis-walisin mo na lang kami. Mag-ready ka na ng walis dyan. Kuya Arnold and
Once
Ate
again,
Imelda.
So today,
And family, yeah?
yung 25th March naman, very special day din sa ating founder, si Kuya Arnold Pedregal, because they celebrated their 27th wedding anniversary din. So, happy wedding anniversary to Kuya Arnold at to Ma'am Imelda.
How sweet naman.
Sila.
Oh.
Yan, ipapakita lang natin yung mga yung lakbay ng buhay nila as a married
Oh,
couple.
ibang segue ng lakbay ng buhay naman ito. Oh, 'di
Oo.
ba?
Yan, very,
Parang walang
you know,
parang walang pinagbago. Nakita mo
oo nga
yung
eh.
black and white. Oh.
Kaya nga
Oh,
eh. Oh.
oh ha? Oh ha? Oh my
I
God.
know. I
Oh.
know. Tapos yung mga children nila ata, we have a photo of that with their whole family, I think.
Yes, yung
So,
graduation ata. Oo.
yes, yes. I
Oh,
would like to
tignan mo naman.
Arnold,
Congratulations.
yes. Arnold, Kuya Arnold Pedregal is our founder of GFN channel, and that's his family. So wanna thank you as well, Kuya Arnold, for everything. And yan, happy wedding anniversary po. More power,
27
more years na
more
sila. Yes,
27
yeah,
years. Alam mo, Ran, alam
yes,
mo, a
yeah.
relationship, alam
Mm.
mo, pag umabot ka sa ganyan, that is something to celebrate. Kasi
Yeah,
not everybody is given that chance and
yeah.
opportunity. Ano? And then, not to say na puro sarap, puro saya. Oh, that's not how it
I know,
is. Pero,
I know.
if you're able to stick it out, 27 years, ako wala na talagang pag-asa, Ran. Kasi nabiyuda man ba? Nabiyuda man.
Well, you can always start a new chapter of your life, but it's okay.
I
And
know.
and
And,
lastly, and lastly,
and
I wanna
lastly,
kami din ng misis
ako
ko.
magsasabi nun. Bakit
Ikaw
ikaw?
na.
Ako magsasabi. And
Sige.
then, it's just very, parang nakakatuwa kasi pareho sila 27 years din, di ba?
Yeah, sa
Right?
church wedding namin, church wedding anniversary.
March 1994. Itong aking uyuan naman. Oh my God. Happy anniversary. My uncle and Len.
Yeah.
My aunt. Oh, di
Yeah.
ba? Hay nako. And then to Robin and Lyle. And
Yeah.
yes, that is amazing, you know.
Isang
Oh my
photo lang
goodness.
naman eh. Wanna thank also our technical director today who stepped in. His name is Kevin. He's based in Quezon City, Philippines. Thank you, Kevin, for stepping in. We really appreciate you. And yeah, so can you
Yes,
show
thank
that
you,
photo?
Kevin.
Do you have that photo, Kev, with me and my wife?
Oo naman.
Ronnie,
Kailangan i-celebrate.
Ronnie and
Celebrate
Lenny.
talaga natin.
It's only one photo anyway. But once again, just wanna greet my wife, who's always been my friend and my tawag ko nga sa kanya is second Holy Spirit eh. So para bang katuwang ko sa lahat. Kaya nga
Beautiful.
marriage is through sickness or through health, for better for worse,
Aww.
yan. So,
Nice.
yan. So, Mama, happy anniversary sa atin. Maybe we have more years to come.
Congratulations. So
Right.
I think in behalf of all the GFN family, for all of you guys, to Kuya Arnold, and then of course Jules says thank you for your greeting, for Kuya
Yes.
Arnold and Ate Imelda and your Kuya Ran and Tilen. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mr. Mario Ergiza Kayabyab. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. From all of us, from the GFN family, in behalf, isasama
Yeah.
ko na silang lahat. Happy anniversary and more power, more, God bless you more. Na,
Yeah.
you know, Mami LV, thank you. Thank you po. Thank you.
My
Now,
mother-in-law. Yes.
last but not the least, I am gonna celebrate my friends. Lahat yan
Yes.
love yan eh. No, birthday, we celebrate a birthday, we celebrate an anniversary. Now we celebrate friendship. Now I'm doing this because it is Women's History Month, International Women's Month ang March. So, in fairness, ang aking darling, ang aking asawa ay namayapa na some 8 years ago. But we've been together for a long time too. Kaya lang I would have wanted to celebrate it with him as well. Pero ganyan ang buhay eh. So now, I'm gonna celebrate it with my friends. So,
Alright.
just in honor of the International Women's History Month and Women's thing, yan. That's Cherry, yung nasa pinakaibabaw. Cherry, Josery Castro, Delgado, Bengski Hufalar Trinidad, and Romelia Mara Santos. Yes. They're strong women too. Tatlo na sa amin ang byuda dyan. Mala Black Widow ba ang dating?
Okay.
Okay. So I just wanna shout out to them. Yan. You know,
Right.
friendships are very important too.
Yes,
Lalo na pag wala
yes.
kang family rito. So,
Alright.
okay. We're celebrating you guys. It's a beautiful start of the show. Now we're doing this. Very timely sa ating guest natin. You know, parang pang-intro ng ating guest na may kakaibang story
Yep.
nakakapupulutan ng aral sa kanyang attitude, and
Mm.
maybe some can relate and will
Yep.
serve as an inspiration.
Yeah.
So so ano Ran? Ano na ba tayo? Magbibigay ano na
Yeah,
ba ako?
because I know that you love your friends dearly and they have been there for you for thick and thin. So I know that you love them, as I've said. So why not offer them a song, Ban? And Bonnie is gonna give us a song dedicated, I think, to all of us. Or basta ang alam ko, the title of the song is "Looking Through the Eyes of Love." So it's all love
Yes.
today, all hearts today. I know it's Valentine's Day is done, but anyway, Ban, take it away. The floor is yours.
Can you give me a little bit of minutes to prepare? Can you do that?
No, no
Ako'y
worries, no worries.
aalis lang muna ako para aking ma-prepare ang aking setup
All right.
situation.
So the camera will be
Okay?
focused on me now, Kevin.
Yes, give me
All right.
time here.
Well, well. Anyways, as I've said, today's guest is, very special. He's someone who is story is a bit unique. As I've said, our show is about OFWs, but sometimes we have special guests, even though they're not or overseas Filipino workers. But he is like 100% Filipino, 100% American, and that when he comes online, he will explain on how that came to be. And I am so blessed with this gentleman to be our guest today. And hopefully you will learn something, and he will inspire you with his life. So, and also Bonnie's gonna be inspiring us with one song. So are you ready yet, Miss Bonnie Loiza? Can you give us the song right now? We're so eager. Can't wait to hear your song. Are you ready? Uh,
Hello,
are you
I'm
ready now?
ready.
All right, go ahead, Miss Bonnie Loiza Ball, Looking Through the Eyes of Love.
Please don't let this feeling end. It's everything I am, everything I wanna be. I can see what's mine now, finding out what's true since I found you, looking through the eyes of love. Now I can take the time, I can see my life as it comes up shining now, reaching out to touch you. I can feel so much since I found you, looking through the eyes of love. And now I do believe that even in a storm we'll find some light, knowing you're beside me. I'm alright. Please don't let this feeling end. It might not come again, and I want to remember how it feels to touch you, how I feel so much since I found you, looking through the eyes of love. And now I do believe that even in a storm we'll find some light, knowing you're beside me. I'm alright. Now I can take the time, I can see my life as it comes up shining out, reaching out to touch you. I can feel so much since I found you. Looking through the eyes of love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. I'm so proud of my niece.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All
So
right.
that's my what do you call that? That's my gift to them. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. UTI na naman po. Ganyan talaga pag live.
All
Pero
right.
don't focus on the UTI. Focus on the message of my song.
All right.
Look into the
Anyway.
eyes of love. Para po sa inyong lahat yan na
All
nagsiselebrate.
right.
Kailangan natin yon. Mapa-birthday, mapa-anniversary, mapa-celebration of friendship, history. It's all about love. So anyway.
Right. All
Thank you.
right. All right. Well, thank you once again. And now, without further much ado, we would like to welcome our very special guest for tonight, today, this morning, this evening, this noon, Mr. Stevie P. All right.
Hello, everybody. Hello, good morning.
How's my man? How are you today, Stevie boy?
I'm doing so good, thanks, and it's an honor to be on the show. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Well, this is our honor as well, brother. It's our honor. So I'm so excited. There's just so much to cover. So hey, Stevie, let's just get right on it, man. Come on.
Oh my God,
Uh,
Stevie,
yeah,
Stevie.
yeah. Just
My
tell us a bit.
Stevie, my Stevie.
My Stevie Wonder, my Stevie
Kailangan ko
P.
muna, kailangan ko muna huminga. I need to breathe, Stevie. Alam mo, dudugo ang mga ilong natin because Stevie is 100% Filipino, 100% American. Bakit? Question mark, question mark. Pero siya po hindi marunong mag-Tagalog. So,
Yeah,
imimix
we're not.
natin.
Yeah, we're not throwing you under the bus, bro. But it is what's yeah. But it is what it is. Like that's why you're gonna explain it to us why you don't speak the language and how it came to be and how you like. But anyway, let's start off with what does P stands for.
Okay, so Stevie P, I mean, it's something that a lot of people call me. It's kind of two parts to the story. Like, Stevie has always been a little bit a part of my life. Like, my mom was always like, Stevie, Stevie baby. And my father, it's funny that you say Stevie Wonder because my father, he would call me Stevie Wonder. So that's kind of been a name that's like kind of always been there. Stevie P got locked in like really hard when I went to university and I was in the freshman orientation. And we were going around like we had to introduce each other
Yeah. Yes.
to our entire. It was just a small Bible college in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I get up and I introduce my name, and instantly this guy who would like later become like one of my best friends. I said Stephen Potter. That's like my whole name, and he was like,
Sorry, what? Sorry, Stevie.
Stephen Potter, like my whole name. Like this is what I introduced myself as.
Portoff, right? Portoff.
Potter, yeah.
Portoff,
yep.
yeah. Portoff, yes. All right.
And
So
and he instantly was like Stevie P in front of everybody, and so it got locked in like on my very first day of college.
all right. Oh, so that's how Stevie P came to be. All right. So, Bon, you wanna ask something from Stevie P?
Well, you know what, Stevie P? I will also end up saying Stevie P because I cannot pronounce your last name. So, ano ka mo? What was that
Portoff.
again?
Portoff.
What?
Portoff. Portoff.
Portoff.
Yeah.
Portoff.
Yeah. Something like that.
Nice.
All
Oh
right.
my God. I don't know where to begin with you, Mr. Stevie Portoff P.
Yeah.
Wala
But
sa
you know
ayos.
what? But you know what, Steve? Just take us through your life's journey, like how like where you born and stuff like that, so that for the knowledge of the people just watching right now, we have a lot of people just tuning in right now, and just share your life story and whatever it is, we will interrupt you. We're gonna ask you some questions, but go ahead, buddy. Start your
Yes,
life's journey with us.
let us get to know you. Why don't we start there?
Yeah.
All right. You're on.
Okay, well, please interrupt at any time. But
No
it's
worries.
true what you say. I'm 100% Pinoy, 100% American. And, I like that title because it's not 50-50. It's, I was
Yes.
born in the Philippines, near a city called, it's funny, I'm talking about this like it's a place far away, but you guys actually know these places. Near a
Yes.
city called Olongapo.
Yes.
And,
Olongapo. Oh,
hmm
okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and I
Right.
believe that my birth mother was like kind of maybe from that area. And from what she knows, my birth father was more from Mindanao, but I ended up being born near Olongapo. And I was born to a mother during a really difficult situation in her life. And
Mm-hmm.
so um, she made the decision to uh, give me to an orphanage for a better opportunity. She knew that I would be provided better for there than what she could provide at the time, and
Oh,
as well as my older two brothers. Too, I had two older brothers at the time, so we were all at this orphanage near Longapo, and this is at the same time that my future family from America was working. My father was working at Clark Air Force Base, and my mother, she wasn't working there, but she would come to the orphanage and just volunteer, come hold babies and come help feed and just other stuff that
wow.
you need help with around the orphanage. And
Wow.
it's crazy because I was born with some holes in my eardrums. The part of your ear that vibrates, it wasn't
Wow.
vibrating correctly. There are holes there, and I couldn't hear. And
Oh,
so
wow.
that's a huge part of your development as a baby. Like developing emotions. You're
Yeah.
able to hear people speaking to you, and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
people loving on you. And I just ended up being a kid that would just not respond to people at all. When people would hold out their arms to hold you, most babies would be like crying and wanting to be
Mm.
held, but I would just be frozen in my crib. And there was something
Wow.
about that my parents said that they were really drawn to. And they would say they're believers. So they would say like the Lord really drew them to that. And in my
Wow.
mind, it's kind of unique because people who would visit the orphanage, they're usually drawn to the kids that are, loud and expressive and want to
Yeah.
hug you back.
I
And
have a
so,
question.
yeah,
Um, here's the interruption. Here's the
yeah,
beginning of the interruption. No, how old were you when you were put in the orphanage?
probably 2 or 3 weeks at the oldest,
Oh,
but it was
two or
almost
Wow.
three
instant.
weeks. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Okay. And you were talking about your adoptive parents that was drawn to you because
Hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
that what do you call that?
Hearing deficiency. The hearing
From birth,
deficiency.
from since birth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to understand that part. Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly it. And so, um, yeah, they were drawn to me. They already had two kids from South Korea that were already adopted, and in their minds,
Okay.
they were done. Like 2 kids was fine. They'll
Mm.
live in the Philippines for a little bit, but after just getting to know me a little bit, the Lord led them to pursue adoption for me, and it all went well. The funny thing is, though, when they wanted to adopt me, the orphanage wanted to assign them another boy, and
Mm.
I didn't really know him. I don't remember any of these memories, but
Mm.
sadly, that boy ended up passing away even before they were able to adopt. So it's like everything was put into place for them to adopt me, and
Yeah.
so um, they adopted me, and we lived as a family there in the Philippines for maybe probably under a year, and then we moved back to Michigan.
All right.
So that's
Right.
kind of how I ended up from the Philippines and getting relocated all the way over to cold Michigan.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay.
Wow.
Right. So basically, from like less than a month old or something, like a few months old as a baby, and then you migrated to the U.S. and then so how was it growing up in
I,
Michigan?
I have one more question before he goes to Michigan. Did you know of any siblings from your birth parents?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, at the time, so we had my two older brothers, and um, let me think about how this worked. A family in the United States in Boston were pursuing adoption for those two. That's them. That's John and Peter. Their names were originally Francis and Lyndon,
Okay,
and
hold on. Can we go back to that photo? Okay,
yeah, this is it.
these are your real blood brothers.
Yes, yep.
Oh, So
These are
all
my blood
boys. So
brothers.
there were
Okay.
four, including yourself.
Four, including myself. That's me on the
So
top left.
so they were also given up for adoption, bro?
Yes. So those two older brothers were in the orphanage already, even before I was in the orphanage.
Okay. So
hmm
were you the youngest?
I was the youngest at the time. Yeah.
Okay. At the time.
And
So there was more after you?
yeah, and there's one more after me. The
Oh,
funny
okay.
story is that those two
Wow.
were being those two older than me, John and Peter. They were being adopted by a family in Boston, and
Oh, wow.
during that process, that family heard that there's a third coming to the orphanage, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? We'll take them too. We'll just keep the whole family together."
Oh,
But
wow.
right during that time, my family in Michigan were adopting me. So instead of getting the third, the family in Boston just got the fourth. They skipped me and they just got the fourth, thinking that it was the third. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
how all four or all three of my other brothers got adopted by one other family, and I was the only one who was plucked out and brought to Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow. So
Wow.
all of you are in the US.
we all ended up in the U.S. Yeah.
So when
Do
did you
you
know this? When did you know this that they were there?
Well, I was always my family's always been super honest with me about both about being
That's
adopted, but also
nice.
about
Mm-hmm.
my birth parents. I mean, there
That's
was
beautiful. Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's never any motivation for me to not want to know my true story. They always wanted me to be fully aware of where I came from, and they also always talked about my brothers. Hey, you got other brothers that your birth mom had,
Mm, nice.
and I think
Mm-hmm.
it was probably around sixth or seventh grade. So I was probably around 11 or 12 or 13. They opened up the opportunity. Hey, if you want to meet these guys, we can make that happen. So I said, sure. And we drove from Michigan all the way to Boston and met with this family for the first time. And I got to meet, the first time I met flesh and blood. It was kind of crazy because we're all kind of similar, but they also had this funny Boston accent. And
So so they were not aware as well. You were both. You all didn't know. Um.
it's
Is that
funny.
am I right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was aware of them much longer than they were aware of me because I don't think
Oh.
their parents, I don't think they talked about me very, very much. So
Oh,
I might have
okay.
been more of a
Mm-hmm.
surprise. It's like, oh, we have a little
Oh.
brother.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
All right.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what was so these photos that we're showing right now is that you were in high school right now, right? So you were into sports, into singing. Oh man, you're a multi-talented kid, man.
Well, yeah, those photos are much later. Growing up in
Okay.
Michigan, it's 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 very interesting because the area that I grew up in is very large percent white population. You could
Yeah.
say it was like white suburbia, and at the same
Yeah.
time we went to a church kind of in the inner city, and
Mm-hmm.
that like the ministries there reached out to a lot of people of color. So I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
living like I felt like these two different lives. Like I could really identify with like like white suburban Michigan culture, and at the same time, I was going to this church which ministered to a lot of people of color, and that's the place where I learned to like love hip hop and play basketball.
Yeah. All right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just a
Mm,
very interesting childhood to grow up in.
And
wow.
did you have sorry man, did you
Oh,
have
it's okay.
any like inclination of reaching out, or as you said it's mostly like white suburban, so any other like like you, like an Asian kid who grew up in Michigan, or did you know anybody while
Man,
growing up?
almost no people outside of the church because the church would meet like the Sunday service was like almost all white, almost 100%. But it was like those middle of the weeks special like services, hour of power, and that kind of stuff. Like that's when we would reach out to the inner city. So outside of church, I almost didn't know anybody who wasn't white. In fact, I would say most of the people who weren't white were also people like me who were adopted by white
Oh,
families, like
wow.
Wow.
people like maybe from
All right.
Korea or like maybe from Africa. Those are the only other people of color that I knew because my elementary school was probably 400 or 500 white students, and then okay, this is funny. The only other people I remember was one black boy. He was he was one of my buddies. fastest kid in school by a mile, right? So it's like all the stereotypes are 100% being fulfilled. And then another family who was two South Korean kids, and it was like the boy in that family was the best like mathlete, we call them, like mathematician
Oh,
in the state,
all right.
and the girl was like a super good violinist. So like early on in my childhood, all these like stereotypes of different nationalities were being set, and it was just it's
Wow.
funny.
Wow.
So really quickly, I just want to ask, really quickly, you can just explain it in a very simplest and straightforward. How was that
Mm,
experience growing up in a predominantly white uh, setup? How
yeah.
was that? Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting. My older brother and sister, who were adopted from Korea, they experienced different types of discrimination and you could even say racism that I never experienced, or at least I wasn't aware of.
Oh,
Like my
okay.
parents said that they dealt with some bullying in school, but I just never did that. And part of the reason for that was because uh, I kind of got lucky in which I was really athletic. I was born with some natural talent in that area, and so that
Mm-hmm.
always allowed me to kind of like be accepted in a certain community in my school.
Mm.
But it was also a weird experience too because my entire life, like at least in my childhood growing up, I was always nobody ever knew I was Filipino because nobody knew any Filipinos. So the only people they knew were like either Mexican or Chinese, like they kind of make assumptions, or Indian, not like Indian that we know, but like Native American.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and so
Very
No,
nice.
but
those
you
are
know
the three
honestly,
nationalities they always guessed.
honestly, bro, when I met you, I thought you were Latino black American. I never thought of you as a an Asian at all. I don't know if that's a compliment, but that was the reason why like I was blown away when I knew that you were 100% Filipino blooded gentleman. So and I said, wow, that was
Yeah.
something. But you
Mhm.
said that you were gifted with athleticism and stuff like that. That's because you're Pinoy, bro. And
Right.
then
I always wondered that.
yeah, and then on college, and then so what did you do in college?
So yeah, college. Well, like I feel like before we get to college, we have to talk about the fact
Uh,
that I at some point growing up in school, my father was really uncomfortable with the idea of me growing up all my life in Michigan,
yeah.
because the thing about Michigan is that there's a lot of people there who grow up there and never leave the states and never end up really like caring or learning about like the rest of the world. So it was
Mm,
really important for him that I spent some time outside of the U.S. at some point, like before I graduated high
okay.
school.
Okay.
And so like his vision was, hey, maybe I can get a job.
Mm.
But he can get a job in like the Philippines, and we can go back there for a year and just like spend some
Oh
time,
wow.
get to know some of my roots and get to know the culture that I came from.
Oh
But
cool.
we he couldn't end up finding a job there, so we ended up he ended up getting a job in Korea, like the next closest place.
All
And then
right.
we would just travel to the Philippines during like holidays and stuff. And so I
Okay.
got to travel there like 5 or 6 times. It was really awesome. But
Oh,
the thing about
okay.
Korea was that I really to move to Korea, to move to an Asian culture for the first time. Um, like I guess the best way to put it is I fell for it. I fell for it hard. It was this new culture. It wasn't so individualistic as
Yeah.
American culture. It's more about like the common people, and somehow that just really like struck a chord in me. So I really ended up loving it there, and so
Wow.
that's why to this day, when I think about Asian culture, I identify much more with a Far East Asian culture, just simply
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I've experienced so far. So then that was kind of the end of my high school years, and going
All
back to
right.
university in Michigan. Yeah.
I
All
have
right.
a question.
hmm
So how how often did you go to the Philippines? So from the beginning, as growing up, you already knew that you have your Filipino parents and of course your siblings that you just said.
hmm
How often did you go home to the Philippines?
Well, before moving to Korea and then traveling to the Philippines from Korea, I never had visited the Philippines. So that was
Mm.
like my sophomore year. So I was probably 16 for the first
Mm,
time that I went to the Philippines and met other Filipinos and understood where I
mm,
came from.
mm,
Mm.
You know.
Do, well, my follow-up question would be, um, did you meet your parents? Do you know your biological parents?
Yes, I do. Not my birth father because he was kind of always out of the picture.
Okay.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to the Philippines, that started a very interesting process because we went back to the orphanage that I came from.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow we got in touch with some people who knew about my birth mom because she was no longer in that area. But
Okay.
somehow they knew like her relatives or they knew maybe some contact info or something. So when we went back to the States, my father kind of took the responsibility to like track her down, like call this person and then
Oh,
call
that
this
is
person.
so nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was super interesting. Eventually, all that investigation led to finding out that my birth mom had moved to the U.S.
oh
and she
wow.
was in
Oh, wow.
California. Yeah, she was in somewhere near you, Bonnie. She was in I want to say a place called Fullerton.
Fatherton.
Yeah,
Is that near here? I know it's not very close to where I'm at, but yeah, it is in California. Mm-hmm.
like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's in Orange County. That's where it
Orange
is.
County.
Oh, Orange
Mm,
County.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
All right.
So, did you
So
meet her?
no, listen,
yeah.
listen. Before we jump to that, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna interrupt you. Before we take our
Anytime.
first break, I just want you to just give us an idea on like the last journey of your life when you're in the U.S. as a college kid. So can you take us there before we jump to that? Because I want you to answer that when we come back on our break. Because this is one of our highlights. I already had a question from our dear friend Julie says, and she says, is there a time in your life, Stevie, that you look for your biological mom? We will answer that in a few minutes after we take our first break. People are so engaged in your life right now, buddy. So,
It is
but
amazing. The
yeah,
story sounds the story kind of sounds like, um it's kind of deep. It's a serious
it
matter,
is.
but
Yeah,
at the
it is. It
same
is.
time, looking at you and the way you're talking, your attitude and all that, it seemed like it's not at all so bad. So I want to know more. I can understand how the viewers are maybe like, okay, okay, we want to know more. Okay, okay, we can't just
Right.
bombard you with questions right now. So
I
okay, so
know.
the questions, are we gonna take a break now?
Let's take a break, and then when we come back, Stevie was gonna take us on his college days because his college days is very interesting. That's where he met the love of his life, and then and then that question that we threw earlier, he's gonna answer that when we come back. Don't go away. Stay right in. Wow, that was a very yeah. Sorry about that. Welcome back once again,
UTI again.
Steve. Yeah,
Talagang,
Stevie
ano,
P. No,
UTI.
I, I
Nag-UTI
just want to
kami.
say, Kevin, you're doing a great job, man. Thank you for stepping in, and we really appreciate you, your hard work. I'm so blessed with you. Okay, Stevie, take us once again to your life. In the college days, and this is the most important thing now here, because after that, we're gonna jump into the thing that you have prepared for all of us tonight as well. So big surprise. Take it away, brother.
Thank you so much. Well, I told you about this problem I had with my ears as a kid,
Yes,
and I'm so
yes,
blessed that the family um, that adopted me did because one of their priorities when we came back to the States was to get this fixed, like to patch
yeah.
up
I
my
was I was
eardrums.
about to ask that. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Because they say that people with this problem often become deaf, like in a matter of years, if it goes untreated.
Yeah.
It's lasting hearing problems like for the rest of your life. And so when we came back to Michigan, one of their big priorities was getting operations done. I had 5 operations done on my inner ear, and
Whoa.
that, yeah, like it was, and it took place over a long period of time, like probably over a course of maybe 7 or 8 years to fully
Wow.
repair my hearing. And that, I mean, that to me is
Wow.
just, it's a miracle because what I ended up doing
Amen.
after graduating high school was I ended up music was a passion for me. After fixing my hearing, They enrolled me in some piano lessons, which I
Wow.
loved and took to. I was able to hear
Yeah.
music for the first time. I fell in love with these groups. I don't know if you guys, Boys to Men and like All for One, like these were
Oh
my
yeah, yeah,
jams
yeah,
growing up.
right.
And
We
this
can
group
relate.
called, yeah. So that just, so many things surrounding hearing became a passion of mine. And I ended up going to
Mhm,
university back in Michigan, a place called Grace Christian University. It was just a small
mhm,
college at the time. That's a picture of me, learning the art of sound engineering. And
mhm.
I just really fell in love with this whole world of music and digital media. Uh,
Amen.
some video production was in there. But
Mhm,
yeah, this was my world after graduating high school. It's funny when I went to this Bible college. Again, it was
mhm.
same situation. It was kind of on all, not on purpose, but just because it's in West Michigan, it's very little people of color, mainly Caucasian, and there's only two people of color, at least at the time that I enrolled. And when I was a freshman, they put me together. My roommate was another Filipino, and this is the first time I'd really been like close to another Filipino. I mean, I visited the Philippines, but that was kind of more on like trips and like as a
Mhm,
tourist, and so I wasn't really getting like the real culture. This
mhm.
was the real deal. His name was Terrell. This
That's
guy
that was
calls
the
me
guy. Yeah,
Frank.
go. Yeah, that's him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he will always be close to my heart. We roomed together for 3 years. Great buddy. He's back living in Cebu now. But it's funny
Oh,
because
okay.
this guy, he grew up in Uganda, in Africa, because his
Well,
parents were missionaries, and so
Okay.
I wasn't even getting like the full experience. Like it wasn't like a a complete Filipino. He had some kind of international flavor about him.
all
But
right.
this was my first experience with kind of Filipino community. Was rooming with this dear brother for 3 years. But yeah,
Wow.
so
Very
it
nice.
was
Very nice. Mm-hmm.
it was
So
college.
so
This
so so when you were in college, is this where you met the love of your life?
it sure is. This is where I met. What did you call it? The second spirit.
Or yeah,
um,
second Holy Spirit.
absolutely, absolutely. This is where
Right.
we were playing a soccer indoor soccer league there, and we happened to get randomly drawn together. She was on my co-ed team. This is her,
Oh, that's
Casey.
when you were in college.
Yeah, this is our very.
Oh,
I wanted to include this picture because this is our very first photo together.
oh
And
wow.
yeah, so she's like me in the sense that when I met her, like her appearance and everything, she's from West Michigan. Her parents are from Michigan, but at the same time, I knew that there was something different instantly. And what I came to find out was she was the daughter of some missionary kids who are missionary kids of some missionaries in Africa in Tanzania. So she grew
Mm,
Oh,
up half her life
nice.
in Tanzania,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So
right.
international, just like me. And this is something that really made us bond very quickly.
All right.
International background.
So
Nice.
after college, how did you like? Who end up here? Like in the Middle East? Like what's how's the transition like? How did that happen?
Well, so after college, um, we knew because of our international backgrounds, me living in the Far East and her in
Mm,
Africa, and then a lot of traveling that we did with our families. We knew that most likely we weren't going to live long term in the States. We just kind of like somehow knew that. We didn't know where,
mm-hmm,
but we knew that it
mm-hmm,
was going to be somewhere else outside of Michigan.
mm-hmm.
But Casey, who graduated with a degree in nursing, before you
Oh,
move
she's a
anywhere,
nurse. All right.
yeah, that's her background. She was a nurse,
Mm,
and whenever you're applying for jobs, especially like internationally, it always says, "Hey, minimum 2 years experience."
yeah.
And so instead of moving right after graduating college, that was in 2012. We decided to
Mm-hmm,
work so she could get that 2 years experience. And in 2014, we she got it, and we're like, "Hey, okay, we're ready. We can relocate." And so what we did, it was kind of funny. We even though we didn't know where we were going to move yet, we took our house, we sold it. We kind of like sold like most of our belongings and moved into a small apartment. This way, when we knew where we would move, it would be a much quicker process because we wouldn't have to like sell everything. So we were
So
ready to
sorry.
go.
So you were married then? You were married then before you traveled?
Yes, yeah, we were married back in
Oh, okay.
2009. We got married
Mm,
while still in
Okay.
school. Yep.
Oh, okay.
mm.
Okay.
So, yeah, and so we moved into like a really small apartment. Kind of was living this minimal lifestyle. Casey reached her 2 year mark that we wanted to reach, and then we just started looking for opportunities. And it's funny, right after that 2 year mark, when we started, okay, now we're
Oh,
there it
look at
is,
the photo. Wow.
2009.
All right.
That brings
That's
me back.
beautiful. That's
Thank you,
I
beautiful.
know. That's
thank you so
beautiful,
much,
man.
guys.
All right.
It's a great
So
memory.
again, yeah. Go ahead.
So she, let's see, right after we had reached that 2 year mark and were ready to figure out where we wanted to go next, we randomly met somebody at a wedding, and he was talking about working at a Christian ministry in a hospital in the Middle East in a place called Dubai, and we didn't even know where Dubai was. Like I didn't know if it was like a city or a country. Like what is this place? But we both agreed that right in that moment, the Lord kind of had spoken to both of us, like, "Hey, be a part of what God is doing in the Middle East." And so
Yeah.
we were looking for opportunities there. Casey ended up getting hired at a hospital down in Al Ain, which is,
Alain,
kind
yes.
of the third biggest city in UAE. Nobody knows
In
Al Ain.
UAE.
Everybody knows
Yeah,
Dubai
yeah.
and Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so yeah, this is 2015. We packed our bags and moved to work at that hospital in Al Ain, and the rest is history from there.
Right. So
Why
this
the
is the full. Go ahead,
okay?
Bad. Go ahead.
Why the Middle East?
Well, the Middle East got planted in our minds as a place that we could wanted to go because in 2015 somebody visited our church, and this was actually a missionary in the Philippines for a long time. His name is Ben Anderson, and he worked with Things to Come Mission. He was missionary in the Philippines, and he visited our church in Michigan and was just talking about his ministry, and it was really cool to hear. And at the very end of his presentation, he was talking about how some of the people from the church that they had started in the Philippines now relocated to a place called Dubai, and we're starting
Mm,
like a ministry presence in Dubai. And we both at that point, like, it's funny because we were working different things that day. Like I was on the music team and Casey was working in the nursery, so we worked together. But after the service, we both agreed, "Hey, did you hear that guy talk about Dubai? What is that place?" And so we looked it up, and that's when we felt like the Lord was like calling us to be part of the church in Dubai. In that moment, after
mm,
that guy visited our church, that's what planted the seed.
wow.
Mm, nice.
So, so segueing to that story, bro. You know that question again. Were you able to meet your biological mom? Like even if you were already here in Dubai, were you able to do that? Because I know that you met you with your brothers. It was shown on your photos. But did that
Yes.
happen?
Yes. Yeah, so the brothers were more like middle school, but when we relocated to Dubai from Michigan, we decided to use the opportunity since we're flying across the world to
Mm-hmm.
stop in California and meet my birth mom for the first time.
Oh
And so
wow.
I met her. It was really great. She was working for a family in California,
Is this
and this
her?
is
Oh.
her. Yeah. So
What's her
very
name?
Oh.
lovely woman. Her name is
She's
Alicia.
lovely. Mhm.
Yeah,
Elisha.
Alicia. Hmm.
Alicia. Alicia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so it was
Wow.
really wonderful to be able to meet her and just connect and just share some feelings between each other. I know that for me emotionally, like, um, you
Wow.
don't connect with somebody quite as much if you're not spending your whole life with them. But at the same time, like you can't ignore when somebody's a part of your flesh and blood. And
That's right.
for me, it was also a matter of being able to communicate some things that maybe she never knew. Like I'm sure that there's a lot of things that perhaps they're wondering, like whether it's guilt or maybe like I was
Yeah.
dealing with like anger and stuff. But just to
Yeah.
simply be able to say, "Hey, like I didn't deal with those issues. I've lived a really good life because of your decision to like hit me up.
Amen.
I've never wanted. I've always been comfortable, and I want you to know that I'm thankful for you, and that I'm not mad at you or anything like that. Like all these kind of things. So it was a really good encounter.
I mean,
Mm.
sorry to it's just I'm just a bit so emotional looking at and hearing your story. I mean, I couldn't fathom like how the experience was meeting your mom for like how many years? How old were you then when you met your biological mom? How
So
old
that
were you then?
was, I was, that's right when we moved out here. So I was 30.
Wow. So in
Mm.
30 years, that was the first time you met you. I couldn't imagine how that turned out to be, but I mean, the feeling of especially your mom seeing you, but I mean, it ends well, So I'm sure like, everything patched up and stuff like that, but I couldn't imagine how did that turn out. So congratulations,
I,
buddy. I mean, that's
yeah, that's
that's
a wonderful thing.
Thank you so much.
I have a question though. Do
Mm,
you have a relationship with your mom right now and your brothers? I mean,
good
really?
if you communicate as often, or your um, conversations has leveled up, you know, into being that your family after all at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Like we're not able to see each other often. To be honest, it's been years since I've seen either of them in like person, both my brothers or my mother. But the great thing about today is that we're all connected on social media,
Mm.
mainly through Facebook. We get to talk. Like so it's really cool. I get to keep up with my brothers, and my brother Peter has had his first child, little Pino, and it's just great to be able to still know and kind of stay current with what's going on in each other's life. My mother, my birth mom here, chats with me on Facebook a lot. So yeah, we totally have a relationship, and I'm really thankful for that.
all right.
Wonderful. Now, I have another question, Kevin. It is it's a little serious question.
Stevie Bunny,
Kevin,
Stevie.
nagbali na si Kevin o si Stevie. Kevin, I'm so sorry that our technical director, so I apologize. But they're both gone, good, nice names and all that.
Of
So I
course,
have,
of course.
of course. So Stevie P. Okay, it's a question that you obviously control. If you want to respond or not. Um, I have two questions.
Mm.
Is there any resentment from your end?
Not a single drop, and this is something that I was so thankful to be able to communicate to my birth mom. Not a single drop, and part of that was because this is the only life that I knew. I never felt like this emotion of being taken away. I never felt like this emotion of her leaving. I never felt like I was being taken out of my home and being brought somewhere else. Like it
Gotcha.
was the
Mm-hmm.
only life I knew. So I never dealt with any of those feelings, and part of me is guilty for saying that because I know that my two older brothers did. They were old enough to
Mm-hmm.
have memories of
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
orphanage years
Mm-hmm.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
and so they
Mm-hmm.
experienced a lot of things about adoption that I never did. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
I got it.
hmm
Did you? My follow up question for that is that did you ask your mom why?
I didn't ask her why, and part of it was because I knew that she didn't need to be asked. That it was a
Okay.
burden for her to be able to explain that. And
Okay.
so
All
I
right.
didn't
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want her to think that I had flown all the way out here and to meet her for that answer. If she wanted to give it to me, that was perfectly fine, but I had complete peace. And so I never wanted her to think like, hey, this is the reason why I'm coming to see you. Like,
Gotcha.
can you explain why? But the decision was hers, and she did, and
She
it was
did.
the
She
yep, she
did.
did absolutely, and it
Can
was
you
just
share? Can you share why?
absolutely. And I want you to know before I answer this that I'm an open book for you guys. Nothing's off limits, and you can ask anything.
Wonderful.
So you're 100%
Mm-hmm.
welcome,
Mm-hmm.
and for those watching too. But it was, I mean, it wasn't anything different than what my parents had explained to me, my adoptive parents had explained to me, because they learned about her story through the workers at the orphanage. The people who managed the orphanage knew my mother. They knew her story. They knew that she was in a situation where things weren't very stable. She wasn't able to
Mm-hmm.
earn any
Mm-hmm.
type of like regular income,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore with us three boys, ended up being four, but there's absolutely no way that we were going to survive if she
Yeah.
didn't make a decision and put us in the
Yeah.
local orphanage. So
Yeah.
so that's the same thing that she explained to me, and it all made sense.
But
Got you.
I think after that meeting with you and your mom seeing you like that, of how you became to be a man that you are right now, I'm sure she is happy and she's content, and it's her relationship with God and what she did. I'm sure she's asked forgiveness about that, but looking at you or meeting you like that, I don't think she can ask for anything more.
And also, I would like to make mention, your adoptive parents. Your adoptive
Hmm.
parents. It's how you are and the way you responded to my questions. It's a little bit, like I said, it's a deep question. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. And for
Hmm.
you to
Yeah.
be an open book, we appreciate you for that. And I'm pretty sure, sharing your mom's picture and all that, they did a good job raising you.
Of
They have good
course.
hearts. I
Mm,
don't even
yeah.
have to know them, but just your
Yeah.
dad looking for your mom, for your adoptive parents to go all that way and encourage you, or maybe take you to visit your siblings. So
Hmm.
it all works together. You have a mom, even if you didn't ask your biological mom, uh just just explained to you. She didn't need to be asked, but she was in touch with it. She knows how the feeling is and all that. So I'm all like, it may sound sad, but it all turned out good because
Amen.
you're a testament to that.
Amen.
So wow, thank you for sharing and letting me ask the question, because we will respect you if there's
Of
certain
course.
things that you don't want to talk about, but
Amen.
Hmm.
you responding to it, it's a story that needs to be told, because
Amen.
it's not rare, but it's a very serious matter, and it can be very sensitive.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So people need to hear stories like these, like this one. So
So sorry, I just want to add that to what Bonnie has said, because not all stories like that, like being adopted or something, ends up the way like you did. You know what I'm saying? So you're one of
Hmm.
those. I think you're blessed, and that's why I'm saying, like, I'm so happy to. We're so happy and grateful for you sharing that story, bro. Because it's like it's just so inspiring. And my wife actually sent me something, and she says your story is like an MMK. An MMK is like a show in the Philippines, because maalaala mo kaya. It's like telling this very inspirational stories, and yours is there. So let me ask you this before. Oh, my son is here saying thanks for sharing your story with us, Stevie. Appreciate you, brother. That's coming from my son. Yes. So Stevie, where does Stevie go after this? Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? And what else can you share before we take a break, and then we're gonna leave you with something that he's prepared for us.
I
Go
have a
ahead,
question
Stevie.
too, but go
Okay.
ahead. Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and thanks for asking. If there's anything that I've learned from this life and the life that I've been able to share with my dear wife Casey so far, it's that I just have no idea where God's going to take us on this journey and what that means in terms of careers and locations. So when I think about 5 or even 10 years, the things that I think about most when, at least at the age that I'm in, is um, my, in terms of dreams that I might want to fulfill. It's all about just development. It's all about relationships. I think that I, I I really want to be like closer and closer with my wife as the years go by. We're so thankful for this pandemic period actually, because we felt like we really grew a lot closer together.
Amen. Amen.
You know,
Yes. Yeah.
and if that's like a pattern that can continue, I would be so happy.
Amen.
When you grow older, you want to make more wiser decisions for yourself and for your family. And I hope that five
Amen.
years from now, I can say I'm a wiser man. I'm a healthier man than what I was.
Amen.
I'm a more compassionate person who's more willing to listen to people's stories because I've met more and more people from all walks of life.
All right.
So no,
All
no
right.
matter where we are, whether we're in Dubai, back in Michigan, or relocated to another country entirely, these are the things that I think about when I think of dreams.
All right.
What I
Well,
see in you, what I see in you is a person that's surrounded with positive energy and with good love, starting from your adoptive parents, and of
Mm,
course the mom that birthed you, and your wife. Now your wife. There's a lot
mhm,
of positivity there, and that's
yeah.
why you are what you are. So it's a
Yeah.
wonderful story. So I hats off to all of those people around you. I will have to
Amen.
say, and I guess the viewers will agree with me,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe in the saying that it takes a village raising a child, because I had my uncles and my family when I had my children, so I'm blessed. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't me. I can't just say I did it all. No, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I was part of that, but I didn't do it
Mm-hmm.
all. Now,
Amen.
my last question: why share your story? What compelled you to share your story with us, even the things that like your ears, but since birth, now you're making it sound so nice. Others will take it to heart, which is understandable. We can't fault them for
Yeah.
having all that. That's not quite the norm, like having a family and all that. um why tell your story?
Well, thanks so much for asking that, Bonnie. When Ronnie talked about possibly being on the show, this maybe like a month ago or however long ago, yeah, I thought
Yeah.
about my story, and I think for my personality, my tendency is to always kind of downplay my story. Like I have for a long time I wasn't comfortable with like spotlight or attention, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's not something that I thought about a whole lot. But the more I do think about it, the more I know that people really people will always connect with stories so much more than like information. I feel like we're designed to hear and to know and to tell stories. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that even though I don't necessarily hold my story as like any more special than anybody else's, everyone's got a super unique story. I know that
Mm-hmm.
on some level, whether it's from the adoptive part or from the hearing impairment part or the Michigan part, it's gonna connect with somebody. It's gonna
Amen.
connect, and like something that I can't help but think of is when I married my wife Casey and married into her family, I gained a little brother from Tanzania, and
Oh.
he was adopted. And I'll never know how much impact that has for him to have an older brother who was also adopted. Like these kind of stories have a way of allowing people to relate to each other in a way that nothing else could. If I didn't know your story, Ronnie, or your story, Bonnie, I wouldn't know what's made you the person that you are today, and the kind of
Mm-hmm.
struggle that you've been through. And if I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that, then in a sense, I don't know you.
Amen.
And so this is what connects us all together. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think that it's something that I always want to encourage myself and those around me to do is share and listen to each other's stories, and this is what's gonna get us through.
Wow.
Wow,
Amen.
you know what, I'm trying to hold back my tears. I want to cry because
Yeah.
actually
Anyway.
I don't mind, I will cry. See,
Yeah.
because for people with this story, it's always sad,
Amen.
but you're one of those that's making it seem like, you know what, it's okay. It's okay. So I
Amen.
just
Amen.
hope that some people out there who's feeling low right now can listen to this and appreciate life and
Amen.
appreciate people around them that
Amen.
truly care about them. Because
All right.
like I always say, all you need is one one person that will show you love and throw you positivity, and you'll be fine. And of
Amen.
course, that's coming from God.
Amen.
um so I'm sorry, I thought I could hold it, but I can't.
It's
I said, no, I
okay.
cannot, because
Never
this
be
is like,
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay.
it's
Because as I've said,
amazing.
we are so blessed with my friend Stevie here. Now, listen, before I know that Stevie's worked hard for this and he's dedicating this to his wife and he made something special. So we're going to take a break and we'll be coming back with a song from my very own friend Stevie. See you then.
Tama po natin with Ben and Eunice Lu.
Ben and Eunice Lu po from DebtAid Consulting International. Sasagutin po ni Ben ang mga questions na pinadala nyo sa DebtAid360.com. Question ni Ate Ruth from Tondo, Manila. Last year has been a struggle for my small business since the economy was hit hard by the pandemic. Close na, pero may mga utang pa kami. Can you help me with the business debts?
Data shows 20% of small businesses fail within the first year, and 50% fail within the fifth year.
Half lang pala ang nakaka-survive.
It's not an easy task na mag-business. Marami ang nagsasabi magbi-business na lang daw, but really don't know how. Madalas, yung pambayad sa mga suppliers ay nagagamit para sa household expenses, kaya ang resulta ay belly up or lugi ang business.
Also, pag nag-business po tayo, kailangan po yung alam natin at hilig natin at alam natin ang pasikot-sikot para hindi po tayo nangangapa.
Maraming businesses ang naging affected ng pandemya, and it is not something to be reckoned with since hindi kayo pwede puntahan ng clients due to lockdown.
Kung close na po ang business,
All right. Once again, welcome back.
Everyone.
After that very emotional portion, which is once again, it comes from the heart. And Stevie, before I introduce this song, I just want to say again, disclaimer for everything, for everyone. This is just for fun. We just want to. It's a cover, and I know that you're gonna talk about something. Do you want to say something before you sing it, so that when we come back, we're just gonna, say our goodbyes. So you wanna introduce your song to all of us?
Absolutely. So this song, no, it's no secret. It goes out to the love of my life, Casey. It's funny. This song is a little bit of an older song by Bryan Adams, and I wasn't really listening to music back when it came out, but I fell in love with the techno version of this song in 2002. It was my senior year of high school, and that's actually the techno version by DJ Sammy. That's actually what made me fall in love with this song. not that I'm into techno music, but
not the original one.
Exactly. It was the lyrics, thinking about our younger years.
Yes,
and Casey and I, we've been married long enough now, 12 years, where we actually do have our younger years. 10 years ago, it wouldn't have made as much sense to dedicate a song like this to her because we only each other for a couple of years. But now it's like, oh man, I truly do think about our younger years. I think about the times that we've been together, and my favorite line in the song is, "Nothing can change what you mean to me." And this is how I feel about my wife now. So this goes out to her.
All right, let's hear it. Stevie P with "Heaven," a cover from Bryan Adams.
Woohoo!
Oh, thinking about our younger years, there was only you and me. We were young and wild and free. Now nothing can take you away from me. We've been down that road before, but that's over now. You keep me coming back for more. And baby, you're all that I want. When you're lying here in my arms, I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. And love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven. Oh, once in your life when you find someone who will turn your world around, bring you up when you're feeling down. Yeah, nothing can change what you mean to me. Oh, there's lots that I could say, but just hold me now, 'cause our love will light the way. And baby, you're all that I want when you're lying here in my arms. I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven, and love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven. See, I've been waiting for so long for something to arrive, for love to come along. Now our dreams are coming true, through the good times and the bad. Yet I'll be standing there by you. And baby, you're all that I want when you're lying here in my arms. I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. And love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven.
Oh my God, that is wonderful.
Thank you so
Ang galing, ang
I-
galing
I-
mo. And you play the piano too. Ano ba yan? You have too much
Yeah.
talent. Ano ba naman?
I
But
just,
you know
I just
what?
couldn't believe it.
I know. Did you want to say something, CVP?
No, I just want to say thank you to Danny Olivar, also my guy,
Oh,
our guy
sure.
who did the editing of the video and stuff with the audio mix. He's our guy. So Stevie, once again, man, I know that the night is running. Once again, we don't want to end this show, man, with you being our
Ayoko
guest.
pang ma-end. Parang I wanna ask more. But you know what? I just wanna say, yung pag-iyak ko, my tears were actually tears of joy. I wasn't sad.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't hold it, because your story and the way that you're handling it, it's such an inspiration, and that's exactly how we want this show to be. You know, an inspiration like that. Totoo lang, totoong buhay lang tayo. Lakbay nga ng buhay eh. So,
Right.
Stevie, thank you so much. We
Privilege
appreciate
is
you.
completely mine, guys. Thank you so much for.
I don't know
considering me
what
for
to
the show.
say. So you take it away. I'll give it
You
to
take
you.
it away. This is the moment you're gonna thank everyone who you love and along the way, as we thank you for being our guest. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I just thank you guys so much. I want to say thank you so much for what you're doing here on LMB. You know, I can't quite say it like you guys, but LMB is a show that is close to my heart simply because of what you're doing and the type of people that you bring on and the type of stories that you're trying to expose. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just so awesome. And like I said before, like the story means everything. The story is what makes us people, and it makes us who we are. So I thank you guys so much for that, for Ronnie's, my brother here in Dubai, for asking, for my wife too. You know, like, we're out here, and even though we're surrounded by people that we love and love us.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you? Can you bring Casey on the
please.
screen? Just wanted to say hello so that people would meet your wife, and then you can say your goodbyes. Where's Casey?
And also I want to point out, we wouldn't have LNB if not for GFN. So we have to thank
Yes.
GFN for having this type of shows. We have other shows too that's really
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uplifting and full of mga things that you can learn and take with you, on your
I know, I
everyday
know.
life. So thank you,
Yeah,
Kuya Arnold. Yeah.
of course, our
Yeah.
founder,
Yeah. And the
Arnold
rest of the
Pedrigal.
family. Yes.
Yes. All right. So
You know,
Casey is somewhere around. That's okay. Just continue with your goodbyes, bro.
sure. No, I just texted her. I don't know if she was. I knew that she planned to head out to the grocery
Okay.
store
Okay.
at some point,
All
so
right. All
she
right.
Okay.
might have
Yeah.
already
All
wrote. I'm
right.
so sorry.
All right.
But
No
That's
problem.
fine.
yeah, but thanks so much. And while I'm on here, I know that my parents are going to try to watch. So I just wanted to say, big shout out to them in Michigan,
Hi,
Lynn and the
parents.
Don and
Michigan.
Jan. Yeah, my father's actually traveling through Asia, so he might be in Cambodia right now. But
Yeah. Wow. All right.
yeah, there's so many people in my life that would be possible to thank. But like the thing that if I want to leave anything, it's that my life is only I only made it to this point because of so many people who have loved and cared for me in a way that they weren't
Hmm.
expecting anything in return. And so I boasted nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm so thankful for all those people. So you know who you are in my life, and yeah, can't name you all by person, but thank you so much.
Thank
So before
you.
you go,
Thank
bro,
you.
I don't know. It's just I have never done this in our show, but today it's just a compelling. I'm just compelled to pray for you before you go. Can I do that? Is that okay, Ban? I just want
Absolutely.
to pray for my dear friend here. Um,
Sure.
I'm just gonna, yeah, I just want to thank, God, Father, we just want to thank you for our friend here, Stevie. And I remember this verse in Isaiah 32, 8. It says, "A noble man makes noble plans, and by noble deeds he stands, because this man, I mean, we're blessed because of his life, Lord, and the way that you brought him up, and of course, thanks to his parents who brought him, give him the things that he needed and prepared him for his young life. And Lord, may you continue to bless this guy with his wife as they travel and as they, continue with their journey of life. May it be here in Dubai or maybe it's somewhere else. But Lord, I just want to ask you to continue to bless this couple and his family so that other people may be blessed because they are such a blessing. In just mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you,
And I
brother.
would like to include with that blessing to our viewers who might be going through something or who have a story and they are navigating through that. So I hope you are inspired and you're encouraged
Right.
and speak your truth and with of course the guidance. We will never
Yeah.
make it if not for that. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you, Stevie.
Stevie P. Hats
Thank
off.
you, my man.
Yes,
We'll
thank
see
you
I
you.
so
We'll
much,
salute
see you.
you.
guys.
We'll see you sometime. All right.
All
So once
right.
again,
So,
Van, once again,
woo,
thank you for
everyone.
tonight. I know we were it's getting late over there, but once again, please do continue to subscribe our GFN channel with our all the channels, all the shows that we
Mm-hmm.
have. And there were some our GFN family, they were saying, like, they watch us. Thank you, GFN family, and thank you for all the upcoming shows that are coming in our GFN channel. Please check us out, and once again, continue to support and subscribe our show, especially Lakbay ng Buhay. Right, Ban?
Okay. So next episode is gonna be our last episode for the season. So
Yes.
abangan nyo yon.
All
There's
right.
gonna be, oh, thank you, my Auntie Len. Mm.
All
Anyway,
right.
so it's our last episode for the season. So we have some stuff that we're planning for all of you.
Next
And
week.
please subscribe and share your stories to us. I will never
Yep.
stop inviting
Yep.
you to do that.
All right.
Anything.
All
And
right.
Lakbay ng Buhay show at gmail.com. If you want to
Yeah.
connect, we're open.
Yeah.
And we're live on YouTube too. So please
Yes.
subscribe.
All
And to
right.
all the other shows that GFN is offering, there's 3 shows. Actually, one started yesterday. That's going to be every Thursday with Miss Sabrina Wong and then
Mhm.
Kabayan Seattle. And the other
Mhm.
one is
Go Pinoy. Go Pinoy in New York, I think. Yeah.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
please check us out. So Ran,
Mhm.
it's a beautiful
Yes.
night. Thank
I
you, thank
know.
you, thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
my dear
Romelia.
friend Mara Sanders, Romelio Sanders,
All
and
right.
Bensky Hufalar Trinidad, and Josery Castro. Those are and all my
Yes.
other friends. Okay,
Yes.
my mom, Denny Lou, my children,
Everyone.
Florizen and Del Rich, everyone na, lahat na sila.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Okay, Ran. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Kuya Arnold. Thank you, Kuya Ricky.
And
Thank
thank you,
you, Miss
Stevie.
Rosalie.
And
And
thank you,
of
Stevie.
course, our guest, our special
Yeah.
guest. Thank you so much for being you and so open to
Yeah.
share your story. And to Cebu, Madam Tihap, and all of you, sama-sama nating tahakin ang ating mga landas at suyurin ang buong mundo tungo sa
Lakbay
Lakbay
ng
ng
buhay.
Buhay.
See you next
See you
week,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Love you. God bless.
Mwah.